As part of Hurricane Preparedness Week, we often hear tips on being prepared before a storm.
But what about after the storm is done? The most common phrase we hear after a storm in South Louisiana is turn around, don't drown. Flooding is often left after a hurricane. Emergency officials say driving through flooded roadways not only puts your life at risk, but often ties up first responders whose services could be used elsewhere.
People either go around barricades or they decide they think they can drive through water. And, obviously what that does is it's going to just increase the calls for 911, the emergency responders, when something that really probably just doesn't need to happen.
In fact, a foot of water will often sweep a car or SUV away. 18 inches can even do the same to a large vehicle. There's also dangers in walking through flooded waters, as it's very hard to tell how deep the flood is and what lurks underneath the surface.
When you have deep water, water that's rushing through, or the currents can be bad, you could have all kinds. You could actually have live wires that were down in that water.
If you lose power, be wary of what you put in your body.
Anything in the refrigerator that was held over 4 hours with no cold air, also over the temperature of 40 degrees, does need to be discarded.
So a full freezer can retain cold air longer. And if your freezer has ice crystals or if it's below 40 degrees, it's safe to eat. If not, just don't risk it.
The last thing you want is food poisoning on top of having to deal with the cleanup of after a hurricane.
But sometimes the best tip for after a storm is to be prepared before it.
We just need you to, just have a plan, make sure all your family is together and practice that plan every now and again to make sure that it works.
A sentiment echoed by our local emergency workers.
Obviously, it makes our job easier, but I think the most important is it could actually save your life.
In Lafayette, Carter Simoneaux, News 15.